Peace, family. So I'm back with another one, you know what I'm saying? So today what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about the Incubus, Succubus, and the energy vampires today, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I kind of touched base on something similar to this when I went over the narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath, but these are all just another form of the same kind of demonic energy, the succubus, incubus, and those two, but they're basically still hand in hand with the energy vampire. So for me, part of my ascension, and before I started being able to see things more clearly in the spiritual realm, I actually started diving into energy vampires first when I started learning. And that was mainly because this was my second situation being in. By the time I was with my BAM, it was my second situation being in where I was just feeling drained, like just life was just being sucked out of me. Like I'm just kind of, I'll have days off of work where I'm just chilling with the fam, got the mini running around or doing whatever, I'm playing with her, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm not even halfway through the day. It may be 1, 2, 3 o'clock, and it's like I feel like I'm ready to go to bed. Like I'm just out of it. Like I'm just ready for the day to be over with, and like that's never been my spirit. So when I start diving in a little bit more, I realized that the energy vampires, when you have one in your life, will make you feel this way. They'll slowly start sucking all of the energy and life force from within you. So for me, what I had to do was I correlated the energy vampires to the real vampires. No, these ones beside us are not drinking blood. You substitute the blood for the energy. But with both beings that I had dealt with before I knew what an energy vampire was, and there was a third one that tried to slide in afterward, but just these two for just, example purposes. You have to invite them in. My situation with my ex, when I think about it, like she put herself in my space, but I still had to invite her in. When I invited her in, that's when everything shifted. And it's the same thing with my BM. I met her while I was working, and I went out my way to give her my number. I had to invite her in. That was an invitation. They was cool just chilling doing what they was doing, and I had to invite them in. Once I invited them in, I didn't understand that that's what I was doing at the time. You just kind of thinking like you want people in your space or in your place like that, but you don't really think of it in the movie form as, okay, this is their invitation. Because if you notice, even in the movies, the vampires will not cross your threshold, your doorway, without the invitation. They'll stand there and they'll wait. And that was no different with these ones. And I understood that extremely well, because by the time the third one tried to slide in the picture, it was like all of these tactics had already played out through 2 other beings. So when you start really being targeted and you know that you're chosen and you're in these spaces, the way you know that this shit is really happening is because you'll be able to point out the same tactics in another vessel. So my ex and my BM had the same tactics. They were just different vessels. One I just called crazy in the beginning because I didn't know what it was, and the other one I had titles because I was researching and learning. But being in that space with these vampires, I realized they was like, it was times when I was with my ex where it was like, I think I was like, I just wasn't feeling well. I don't know if they was like draining me in my sleep or something or whatever, but I've always been extremely good, extremely healthy, extremely active. But for some reason, this one night, like, I don't know if I had caught like some bug or something, but I had the hiccups, and the hiccups was really fucking bad. Like, they would just not stop. I've never experienced this before in my life. And it was like, it just kept going so much repeatedly that it kind of fucks up your breathing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, even that night, just thinking about it, like, this bitch slept like a baby. This bitch slept like a baby. I had took my ass out to the motherfucking, I tried to sleep downstairs to try to fix it. I was trying to do all kind of water and everything. It got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in the car just in case I got to drive myself to the hospital. Knowing damn well if it get that bad, I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I got the phone to call 911, but they not going to get there fast enough. The motherfuckers operate extremely slow. But even after expressing that to her after that situation, it was no care, no fucks given, which I don't expect nobody to care or do anything, you know what I'm saying? You're entitled to your own levels of caring you want to give, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also entitled to receive that and process that how I would like to as well, you know what I'm saying? But that shit was extremely draining. They both had the same tactics of the succubus, where it's like I need to lead with my sexuality. I have to use this shit to manipulate the process as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? I'll do all the love bombing and all the weird shit and make it seem like I'm paying attention in the beginning. And but my ex, I didn't have the knowledge, so she kind of wiggled right in there, kind of smooth, and then just, you know, back then, you know, you call people crazy. Nobody was on really YouTube like that back then. Like years and years and years ago, like YouTube was up, but we was not diving in the way we are now. Like I've been diving in since 2014, 2015, but YouTube has been up since way longer. But that was just crazy. So you just label it crazy and then you just kind of push it off to the side. But then my BM also had the same tactics where it was very feminine. She was extremely feminine. She didn't lead with her masculine, but it was very manipulative. It was very seductive and seducing. It was always like this fucking crazy eye contact to kind of try to manipulate you into this kind of spell, so that way she can just do whatever she sees fit. You know what I'm saying? And that one was a tough one for me because I was just now growing into my ascension process, and I didn't really know what the fuck was going on. I just was thinking like, oh, okay, well, I know people are like seductive. Like that was like a word growing up. People used it. I wasn't thinking that in depth into it. Because for me, I don't do the seducing and seductive thing. I'm just me. And if the energy flows and it just kind of all flows together, then that's just how it flows. But I don't do all that weird manipulation, talking over here, but I'm over here kind of thing. I just don't do that. But understanding that whole energy vampire thing, it all started correlating and making so much sense. And even though I never we done all seen vampire movies, whether it was fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer or whether it was Twilight, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of fucking Blade. You got a lot of fucking vampire movies, you know what I'm saying? Which is, they're out here slaying these motherfuckers. If you think about it, us chosen ones, we out here working to slay these motherfuckers. At least the warriors, the stronger ones are. I know some other ones that's working their strength up and they not in that space yet to be putting that kind of slay work in yet, you know what I'm saying? But that's the whole purpose of all of this is enlightenment, you know what I'm saying? But the energy vampires and Succubus, Incubus it's all gonna be seductive, seducing, and sexual, you know what I'm saying? And I know, like, I don't know about women, but I know as far as men, like even young, like having wet dreams, like it was still a weird process even experiencing that, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody really tells you or explains it to you when you do have it, but you see the physical results from it, you know what I'm saying? So they coming at you in your sleep. They coming at you through these vessels that they have access to, you know what I'm saying? So that same spirit, I would say, that gave me a wet dream when I was a teenager before having sex, that's usually when those ones try to get you in your spirit realm and your sleep, is before you really start having sexual encounters. Once you start having sexual encounters, it's going to be more so they're going to use the vessels that they have access to, because they actually have more control. You know what I'm saying? So they jump in. We already know they jump in vessels. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it from a gang stalker's point of view, but now it's more so of these are different tactics that the other enemies will use to kind of push that energy towards you. So I just feel like, long as we're aware of the energy vamping and these tactics that they use to kind of sexually get to us, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that would be huge, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as our growth, our learning, and our awareness, as far as knowing what's going on. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to drop something down there for y'all. Keep y'all tapped in everything down below. We getting busy, you know what I'm saying? Peace to the kings and queens.